Kuzi has announced the appointment of an independent human rights advisory committee to be chaired by the Attorney General Emeritus Professor Githu Muigai. Now, speaking when he confirmed the appointment of the committee, Kakuzi Managing Director Chris Flowers said the team would provide independent technical advisory to the firm's board of directors. He said such technical advisory and expertise would guarantee sustainable compliance with global human rights matters across the Nairobi Securities Exchange listed firms' operations. On his part, Kakuzi IHRAC chairman Professor Githu Muigai challenged other local companies to adopt the idea and advance human rights in cooperation environments.
He felt it very important that to give the credibility and the transparency to what we were trying to do, we sought to find some very eminent individuals who would be able to act in an advisory capacity and receive information on Kakuzi's operational level grievance mechanism, on Kakuzi's human rights impact assessments, and then read those documents in conjunction with other information. And from that, they could then advise the board to say, are our working practices, are our policies, are our procedures absolutely in line with world-class best practice?
Kakuzi is pioneering a public, a very, very public accountability program, demonstrating its commitment to respecting human rights within its working environment and within its supply chain. So that it is not only responsible for its own conduct, but the conduct of the people with whom it works. We in the independent committee are meant to autonomously, away from the company, advise on the various policies and programs and review the various action points so that Kakuzi remains at the leading edge of this accountability program.
Now, price of teas at the Mombasa Tea Auction has increased for the third week in a row, a month since the government introduced the minimum reserve price for teas. Prices of teas from KTDA-managed factories improved marginally at auction to fetch an average of 264 shillings per kilogram compared to 250 shillings during the previous week's auction. During the auction in the first week of August, KTDA-managed factories offloaded 84% of all teas offered at the market, down from 87% sold the previous week. Prices of tea at the Mombasa Tea Auction have been on a downward trend since 2018 and had this year slid below 200 shillings, threatening to push farmers to losses due to low selling prices that could not cover production costs. Now, in his market update last week, KTDA Holdings acting CEO Wilson Mudhaura noted that the improvement in price and absorption of KTDA teas is welcome and is a reflection that tea buyers appreciate the need for sustainable tea farming. A section of Farmers Through Fresh Produce Consortium of Kenya, National Potato Council of Kenya and Cereal Growers Association have logged a petition with Parliament seeking to review and overturn a recommendation to ban all agricultural inputs in Kenya banned in Europe. Now, environmentalist and organic farming group petitioned Parliament to ban use of 262 molecules used in the manufacture of various farm inputs. According to the Fresh Produce Consortium of Kenya, National Potato Council of Kenya and Cereal Growers Association, the committee did not review the European Union policy that led to the ban. The three organizations argued that the rest of the world blanket has disputed the ban, terming it as an unscientific trade barrier. FPC CEO Okisegere Ojepat says effecting the ban will cut Kenya's GDP by more than 20%.
Facing a challenge of invasion of different pests that are alien to this country and that are detrimental to the agricultural sector. And an example is false codling moth that is really ravaging our roses and our chilies that have also slowed down those processes. Secondly, we have tuta absoluta that has really caused trouble when it comes to our tomatoes. We have false armyworm, and we continue having locust invasion that in the recent past. Really, if we did not have plant protection products, I really don't know how we were going to have this. We would like to appeal to Parliament to reconsider this process and throw it back to the stakeholders. Our view and our request is that the agriculture experts be given an opportunity, together with competent authorities in this country, to review the entire processes. The effect that for us is that if we withdraw all these molecules, our agriculture is going to go down, and there's a likelihood we are going to lose more than 80% of our production due to the withdrawal of these products. And therefore, that means that we are going to lose at least 20% of our GDP with immediate effect. And of course, that is going to make us a net importer as a country of food that we eat, and it's going to really cause deficiency and malnutrition. And we already know that more than 2 million Kenyans are already facing starvation.
When we talk about removing these crop protection products from the markets, one of the things that we need to look at is we are growing the staples in an environment that is very unique from any other environment under the sun.
All that we're asking the government is to really consider and bring all experts on board so that this decision that is going to be made really is something that is going to be really thought out, and even as it affects the industry, at least we'll be looking back and saying the experts engaged and they made the best decision regarding the same.
Well, that's what we had for you on our agricultural front today. But let me remind you, our question of the day today: what is the origin of the name arrowroot? What is the origin of the name arrowroot? Converse with us, just answer and tell us what you think this could be. And remember to tell us where you're watching us from so that we may read some of the comments as we continue with the show. We're going to go for a short break, but when we come back, we'll have Kimuri Mwangi, who's our guest today, just here to explain to us more about arrowroot farming. He is the founder, Kilimo News, and he's going to just come here and explain to us what arrowroot farming is in Kenya and what has been the progress that it has made. But right now, we're just going to go for a short break. I'll leave you with the markets update. When we come back, we get into the discussion of arrowroot farming.
2 midfielders, central, okay? And then you have your central defender 1 against 1.
We are here today to see through a refresher course for CAFC. This course was initially done in 2017, but the certification was not done because at CAF the curriculum changed and the system of joining a course changed. The new system required that people apply online, which they did not do when they were doing the initial course. For a long time, there has been a pending issue and of certificates not given. It has been a very hot issue. It has been complained. There has been complaints all along, but we are happy that today we are able to sit down with these coaches, get through the refresher as per the new curriculum, and get their certifications immediately after completion of the course. I remember twice we've been with the president to CAF technical department seeking their certificates, but it has taken a long time. The president has pushed for it. I was with him twice in Cairo, but at long last it's now happening. And we are happy that the complaint and the misunderstanding and the dissatisfaction is now done with, because they are going to get their certificates and now they can look forward to doing the next class, which is Class B. And coaching education has never been there in Kenya. Proper coaching education has never been had. But in the last 6 years, we have done so many coaches training and other technical trainings for those who are handling football. I'm happy that this thing is going to be a continuous process, and as the chairman technical had said, we are going to have B classes, 2 B classes every year. And that will give us an opportunity, because the CAF requirement for a coach for certain levels also change and they are different. So we are happy that we are in a place that now we can move with the rest of the associations, with the educated coaches, with the right certifications, and the only thing that I'll want to emphasize that we need to get more ladies coming to train as coaches, going through and coming up, because we have a problem when it comes to women coaches in this country. So we need to urge more ladies to come up. We need to talk to our elected officials and those former players to come and train as coaches and get this certification so that they can be useful in the football market.
All right then, welcome back. This is Business Center, and as I told you earlier, we have our guest today. His name is Kimuri Mwangi. He said he just wants to be known as an arrowroot farmer today, and that is what we're going to call him. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kevin.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, let's just jump into it. Let's start with your story.
Yes.
What influenced you to be an arrowroot farmer? What made you start this?
What I can say is that I've grown up eating arrowroots, or doma as we call them. Mm-hmm. Our lad has got a lot of arrowroots. So since I was born, there were a lot of arrowroots. Mm-hmm. In fact, I remember there was a time when you'd go to school, and when you come for lunch, it is arrowroots and sweet potatoes. Mm-hmm. When you come to supper, they are still there. Mm-hmm. In the morning, you take it as breakfast until you feel like now you run away. Mm-hmm. But the reason is because they were there in plenty, and there was no such good market. Mm-hmm. In fact, at that time, nobody would even think of selling arrowroots. So we just cultivated them for home usage. Mm-hmm. And for subsistence. So later, recently, there has been a very high interest of doma. Mm-hmm. One is driven by the urge for people to eat healthy food. And so a lot of people got interested in Doma because Doma is one food that is has advantages to various people who have got various problems. It is friendly to people who have hypertension. It is friendly to people who have heart conditions. It is friendly even to kids. In fact, it is used to make infant formula.
Oh, all right.
So that interest recently has brought a lot of interest to people to have Doma. So then I looked around and saw that hey, we have got rad that has got arrowroots, and I decided, why don't I do this commercially now? And that's when I started farming Doma commercially.
All right. And you've spoken about the market. How is it in Kenya right now?
Well, the market is there, but people should know, especially farmers, they should know that there are a lot of market dynamics. When you have your produce there, it is very, very important, like I always say. If you're farming anything, it's better you know that there is a market that is available. Yes, I'm planting my domas and I'll sell to in this market. I'll sell to this person. You don't just plant anything and then you start looking for a market. But the market is huge, by the way. There are people there, there are traders there who sell the domas in various towns, and also if you go into many grocery stores these days, they are selling domas. So I can say the market is there. Yes.
All right. And before now we get to the market.
Yes.
For example, you are a farmer. How do you establish an arrowroot farm? What are some of the requirements that you should start with? Or how is the land preparation for this Doma before now you get to the market?
Yes, Kevin. You see, Doma is one crop that is very good because it doesn't have a season. You can plant Doma anytime you want, provided the land that you want to plant there is compatible to arrowroot farming. Domas are planted usually on riverbeds or in areas where they are swampy, but we cannot call them swampy where there is a plenty of water. Yes, so if you have that land, then you can plant Doma anytime. So you just need healthy suckers, because the healthy suckers are very important. You know, the bigger the sucker that you are planting, the bigger the arrowroot it will give you, and also the less time it will take to grow. Yeah, so you need to have healthy suckers, and then you prepare your land well. Domas need very soft soil. So you need to till your land well, and also to dig those holes with good space. You know, initially people are planting just one sucker per hole. Yeah.
All right.
But like me now, I plant 3 or 4, depending with the size of the sucker. Yeah, because the sucker needs an area where it can. You know when now the arrowroot starts now maturing. It needs an area so that it can expand well.
All right.
Yeah, so the hole needs to be big enough to accommodate the 3 or 4 suckers that you'll plant there. Then you also need some manure, and that's where now the difference comes in. Those times I'm telling you, when you are farming them for subsistence, nobody used manure to plant arrowroots. In fact, there was this myth of people saying, no, Domas planted with manure are not good, they are not tasty. But that is just that. Personally, I use goat manure to plant arrowroots, and they are very tasty. Yeah, so if you want good results, it's good to use manure. You have good manure that is well composted. Then you plant in, like I've told you, in an area that has got good space, that will give the plants good space to mature. And from there you are good to go. So if there is no enough water at that time, you must water the plants so that at least now from there, if there's going to be rain, you'll be lucky. If there's no rain, you must water the plants so that at least now you make sure now they are okay. Then from there, you don't require a lot of work. Yes, arrowroot is one crop that doesn't require a lot of care. Yes, once you plant well, then what is very much important is you do some mulching on the plants. Yeah, once you do a good mulching on the plants, then from there you just make sure there are no weeds, and it's not a lot of time. Yeah.
All right, and now I'm interested to know, for example, in an urban area like Nairobi.
Yes.
And we live, some of us live in apartments. You want to, maybe you want to plant this, the arrowroot
Yes.
on your balcony. How would you advise a person who wants to do that?
Well, I don't know if it can work in a balcony, although these days there are a lot of technologies. But what I know is that you can, there's what we call the upward arrow technology that people are using today. Those people, especially who don't have swampy land or land that has got a lot of water. So you can just use any land. What people do is that you dig a big trench, and then you lay a polythene paper. Yeah. Then on top now you add soil mixed with manure, and then pour water. The polythene paper is for is to prevent seepage of the water into the soil. So now when you add soil mixed with manure, then you can plant arrowroots on top, and then you do some good mulching. Yes. So eventually what you'll be doing, you'll be adding some water depending on how the dryness of the soil. So you'll be just checking that. Okay. So you don't have to have that swampy land to plant
the arrowroots.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is something, that is technology people are using, and they are getting good good harvests. Yes.
Okay.
So whenever you live in an apartment up there or down there, you can just select a small portion, and then you plant some arrowroots there using that technology.
All right. For those in apartments, I think you've gotten that. It's very clear what you can do. And now let us move. How long do arrowroots take to mature? What is the best condition to grow them in, so to make sure that they give good results?
Well, arrowroots take 5 to 6 months to mature. Yes, although there may be a slight difference. One, because of several reasons. One, it depends with if you had planted a healthy suckers. You know, like I've told you, the healthier the sucker, the faster it will mature, and the bigger the arrowroot tuber will be. And also, it also depends with how if you don't plant using manure, definitely it might take longer. But average it's 5 to 6 months.
All right.
Yes. So, and also it depends if the conditions are good, if it's getting good water. And it's also good to mention here that arrowroots do not necessarily need to be grown in waterlogged soils. That's something people usually confuse. Yeah, if you plant arrowroots in a waterlogged soil, the tubers will just rot. Yes, so it needs to have, the soil needs to be moist or have enough water, but not waterlogged. So in 5 to 6 months average, you can harvest your arrowroots.
All right.
Yes.
And now after the 5 or 6 months, what shows you that now this is ready for harvest?
Yes. Well, one, if you're farming, what do I call it? If you're farming commercially, or if you're in agribusiness, definitely you'll be keeping your records. Yeah, yeah. So you'll know this is my 3rd month, this is the 4th month. But generally, if you look at the sucker as it grows, it grows bigger. So it will show you that surely this is almost mature. But also the leaves start turning, drying up in patches, and also start turning yellow in patches. Yeah, that is one sign that now the tubers are ready, yeah, for harvest. Yes.
And now, a little bit curious, the leaves. We were having a discussion with my producer in the morning, and then we were trying to figure out how do people eat the leaves? Are they used to heal wounds? What is the importance of these leaves? Because after you remove the leaves,
Yes.
and then you remain with the arrowroot.
Yes.
Now, where do these leaves go?
Well, like you are saying, the leaves are also very important. Yeah, the leaves, there are people who use the leaves as vegetable. What do you call them? Do you call them vegetables or as, or they eat the leaves?
Wow, okay.
Yes, it is a delicacy. Yeah, so you are very right when you are saying that. But also now that one depends with maybe where one comes from, because there are people who don't eat them. But it's a delicacy in some areas. And it's very nutritious, by the way. Yes, so the leaves are very important. For those who don't eat the leaves, like for us in our area, we don't eat the leaves.
Okay.
But I guess it's not that they are bad. I think we just don't eat because we have a lot of greens. I think that's the reason, yeah. But for us now, when now you are harvesting, yeah, you make sure now that the leaves are use them to do mushing even to the arrows themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't throw them away. Yeah, you just leave them there and you use them to do mushing as mulch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, what are some of the types of arrowroots that we have? Do we have just one type, or there are different types of arrowroots?
In Kenya, we have two varieties of arrowroots. We have the indigenous one that has been there for all along. It's called the Endoi variety, and then there's a new that's called Dashin. Dashin has its origins in Burundi. Yes, so those are the two varieties that are being grown in Kenya today. Yes, and the difference is with the Dashin usually has big tubers than the Endoi. Yeah, so, but the Endoi is the one that has been there all along. So we just have those two varieties for now.
All right. And now, which type of soil, can you say maybe this soil pH is the best for growing arrowroot? Which type of soil is best to grow arrowroot in?
Well, loamy soils, well drained, are conducive for growing arrowroots. But we can say usually with manure and good watering plan, arrowroot is one plant that does well in in various types of soils. Even the semi-arid and arid areas? Exactly. If you just have water and manure, it will do well. Yes, because like you have said, the upward arrowroot technology, you don't have to get some soil from those swampy areas. No, just the soil that is there. Yeah. And now its agricultural contribution in the country. How do you view it if you maybe compare it with other tubers? What's its contribution in the country? Well, currently there's something interesting that I've observed with arrowroots is that many young people are taking up arrowroot farming, and that's very interesting because one thing, growing arrowroots is a muddy affair. Yeah, you have to get into that mud. But and most youths or young people, they don't want to wear those gumboots and go there in mud. But they have taken up arrowroot farming. So that is something that is very interesting, I've observed. And also the interest that it has brought about in healthy eating. That means the demand is high. And now along the value chain now, we can see now that it is increasing, and the benefits are immense. Yeah, because if you look at the farmers, they are getting the income. If you look at those traders who are buying the arrowroots, even in hotels these days, I know you've been to hotels these days, Doma is on the menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people want to eat healthy these days. They don't eat the mandazi and the other things.
Yeah.
They order for doma. Yeah, so I think it's important even in the, if you look in the, on the nutrition side of it, it is helping this country nutrition-wise, even for people to eat healthy. And also for the benefits now, as we've said, along the value chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now as we wrap up this, what's your take on Kenyans' consumption of ndoma?
Well, I think it is picking up, like I've told you, but you know, it moves from those people who know what doma is. Like I've told you, for me, I have been brought up eating doma, so I know it. For those who have not been consuming it, definitely now with the increased demand and the interest, they are starting taking it up. And they are eating it, and especially when they hear about its health benefits. So I can say there's a lot of interest, and even now being on the hotel menus, yeah, it is becoming one of the biggest delicacies in the country. Yes.
So we can say it is picking up?
It is really picking up, yes.
All right. Thank you so much for coming to the show today.
Yes, Kevin.
We've gotten really a lot of insight on this subject of arrowroot farming. Thank you so much. That has been Kim Muri. He is an arrowroot farmer. He said he wants to be referred to as an arrowroot farmer. When he comes next time, I know you will. You'll come next time. I will speak more about what he does, but we've really gotten insight on this subject. I'd like to read one response to our question of the day today. Our question of the day today, where we had asked you, what is the origin of the name arrowroot? What is the origin of the name arrowroot? We have Mwendwa wa Embakasi, anasema anatoka Embakasi. Kevin, that question is hard. My guess would be during the agrarian period. Wenye mlisoma history, agrarian period, nikoshua mnakumbuka kabisa. Thank you so much. Now we are going to go for a short break, but we'll come back and look at innovations and agri-facts of our topic today. Have a great time, but remember, we are coming back with innovations and agri-facts.
Okay, so my name is Chris Githaiga. I'm the country manager for Ipsos Kenya. I think the importance of this study is that it brings the voice of the woman into the boardroom, because we've seen that most of the time the decisions that are made in terms of product policy making, they are probably not based on facts or information that is adequate. So we thought the first thing that we need to do is really talk to the women and hear what they like, what make them, why do they like what they like, what are they buying, and also didn't understand, what are they, how powerful or how important is their voice, because we had some ideas, that they're important in decision making, and what we found out is actually 70% or 7 out of 10 households, the decisions that are made when it comes to what they consume, what they buy, the service they use, are driven by what a woman wants. It could be what she directly using, or it could be what the family is using. So you're talking about, there's no other demographic that has that kind of influence in the market, where it decides on what or how the house is going to spend their money. And we're talking about everything that they spend. So it's huge. It translates to a lot of money. When you look at, if you have a budget of 100,000, can you imagine now how much that is multiplied by all this volume of households that you're talking about?
Managing your finances starts with questions. Where do I put my money? What opportunities are available for my money? What ratios should go into savings, spending, and leisure, if you may? Now, trying to answer all these questions can sometimes mean you have to understand concepts like savings, loans, forex, stock markets, and sometimes politics, and honestly, sometimes it can get a bit overwhelming. On Eye on the Money, we take you through intelligent investment and finance management decisions so that you keep track of every coin that comes out of your pocket.
Welcome back. This is Business Center right here on Metropol TV. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi. I'm going to read for you our question of the day answer. Our question of the day today was, what is the origin of the name arrowroot? And then we have Halima kutoka Huruma says answer is 1980s. We'll know that towards the end of the show. We'll know the answer. But right now we get to agro commodities for today. We're going to look at dry white maize, oranges, rose cocoa beans, white Irish potatoes, cabbages, tomatoes. And then we're going to look at these products in Bomet, Kisumu, Nandi, and Siaya. And then now we're going to start with dry white maize per 90 kgs in all those areas. We have Siaya with 2,700, which is a little bit more economical than the other areas. And then we are going to move to oranges per 93 kgs. In all those areas, we have Nandi with 3,488. And in Siaya, on the other hand, is 9,300. You can see the disparity between the two. So we have Nandi, which is more economical. And then we have rose cocoa beans per 90 kgs. In Bomet is 6,003. And then in Siaya is 11,052. And then now we have Bomet there, which is more economical. And then we go to white Irish potatoes per 50 kgs. In Nandi is 1,150. If you compare Kisumu and Siaya on the white Irish potatoes, Nandi is the most economical with 1,150. We move to cabbages per 126 kgs. We have two areas there. We have Bomet and Siaya with 1,890, and then in Siaya is 1,890. We have the same price. And then we move to our last commodity, which is tomatoes per 64 kgs. In Nandi is 2,400. If you look at Bomet, Kisumu, Nandi, and Siaya, Nandi is the most economical in the tomatoes area, in the tomatoes segment with the 2,400. Those are our agro commodities for today. Now we're going to go to our question of the day. I remind you, our question of the day today. I'm going to remind you a question of the day. What is the origin of the name arrowroot? We have Abigail from Thome says, my guess is 1700. We are going to know that as we continue. But now we go to our innovations. Today we shall focus on some of the innovations in arrowroot farming. Then now we are going to look at arrowroots as upland arrowroot technology. Arrowroots are traditionally grown along the river valleys and on wet areas. With the upland arrowroots technology, they can now be grown away from the river valleys. This technology involves planting the crop in trenches lined with polythene paper and filled with soil manure mixed at a ratio of 2:1. Planting trenches are spaced at 0.5 meters. Crop and water management is done when avoiding stepping on the trench while weeding to prevent compaction. Tubers grown using upland technology require ample moisture throughout the growing season, and therefore irrigation is required once per week. Soil pH of 5.5 to 6.5 is favorable. This innovative farming method can contribute greatly to food and income security while helping in climate adaptation. That is the innovation. And then we're going to move to AgriFacts. Now, on today's AgriFacts, we shall be looking at some special facts you may or may not know about arrowroots. Now, for better digestion, you need to get this. Arrowroots may contain high amounts of dietary fiber and can also help with diarrhea. Dietary fiber is one of the most important parts of our digestive process, as it may help move food through the bowels in an efficient manner, while also stimulating the uptake of nutrients. It can also help clear out excess cholesterol, further promoting cardiovascular health. And now I know you know that. Now we also got to improve heart health. Did you know this? The significant levels of potassium found in arrowroot mean that it can be a definite line of defense against heart-related issues. Potassium helps relax the tension in the blood vessels and arteries, thereby lowering blood pressure and reducing your risk of heart attacks and strokes. We also look at it also helps in lowering birth defects. Now, arrowroot is rich in folate, which is in vitamin B. Studies have shown that folate is important for expecting mothers, as it might help prevent neural tube defects in their unborn child. Folate is also an important factor in DNA synthesis and healthy cell division, thereby promoting rapid healing and healthy growth. Now, we also look at treat athlete's foot. Now, athlete's foot is a common skin infection of the feet caused by fungus. You can use arrowroot powder to treat this infection by applying it in the affected area. The powder has also the ability to absorb moisture and sweat, which makes it difficult for the fungus to grow and spread. That is our AgriFacts for today. We're going to go to our question of the day, where we had asked you, what is the origin of the name arrowroot? What is the origin of the name arrowroot? I'm going to read some of our comments, and then we're going to look at the answer. Abigail from Thome, we had read that, who said 1700. We have Niva from Limuru, says answer is Egypt, izo time ya pyramids. All right. Niva from Limuru, thank you so much. Now, we're going to look at our answer for our question of the day today. Now, arrowroot first recorded in English in 1696. That was a while back. Now, it was derived from Arawak word aru, meaning meal of meals. Now, aru was used by the Arawak Indians of the Caribbean islands as a very starchy meal made from the root. Now, from the one who spoke about agrarian period and all those, so now you know the answer for our question of the day today. Now, we've come to the end of this show, Business Center, right here on Metropol TV. My name is Kelvin Yakundi. From the rest of the team that made this show a success, thank you so much for joining us today.
There's so many reasons to love sport.